Hi, I'm Mackenzie Branch, and this is Baloo, and today we are going to show you how to do bandaging. So to start out with, I'm going to talk to you about safety a little bit. First of all, my horse is cross-tied because I know she's perfectly fine with this. If you have an injured horse or a horse you've never bandaged before, I highly suggest having a handler because you don't know how the horse is going to react and you always want to be safe. And if you have the handler, then the horse is in more control. And when you're doing this, never stand in their zone. You don't want to get kicked. Typically, like I said, when you bandage a horse, they're in pain and they could react to that and they could easily kick out at you. So you want to make sure you're never in that way. You always want to talk to them, pet them, make sure they know where you're at. And when you're doing this, never put both knees on the ground. Either have one knee on the ground or squat. That way if something's happened, you can easily get out of the way really quickly. So first off, I'm going to show you how to do the polo. Before I show you, the polo is only for protection. A lot of people think it can also support the horse, which is false. It does not support. It only protects the horse from its legs or pulls, depending on what you're doing. We also use it for fashion because they come in really, really pretty colors and designs, and people think it's cool for their horse. So I'm going to demonstrate how to do it. I'm going to pet her, talk to her, let her know what I'm doing. I'm going to squat. I don't have both knees on the ground, so if she was to react, I could get out of the way. I'm going to pull away from thin end. And when you're doing this, you want to make sure you don't get it too tight or too loose. If you get it too loose, it could fall off the horse. If you get it too tight, you could possibly cord the horse, which is really, really bad. And when you're doing this, you want the V of the polo right in front of the horse's leg, as you can see. You don't want to go too high. And there's your polo, and I covered the back of the fetlock too for protection. And there you go. Okay, so next we're doing the standing wrap. Today I am using a quilted wrap. I prefer the quilted wrap because it keeps the padding more even versus like a pillow wrap where it kind of bunches up and moves a little bit on the horse's leg. And then after you wrap it with this, you'll use a track wrap to secure it on the leg. So when I'm doing this, I'm going to pet her, make sure she knows where I'm going. And then I'm just going to rub her leg a little bit so she knows. And for this, you want to go down past the fetlock. Make sure you don't have any wrinkles. Make sure it's nice and even. You want about 1/2 inch showing at the bottom. You don't want too much, and you don't want barely any. And same at the top, you want a little bit showing. make sure you didn't get it too tight. If you pull it too tight, you could cord the horse. And when I was wrapping, I was pulling away from the tendons. And so to check to see if it's too tight, you want to be able to stick about 2 fingers in there. Not anymore, because you don't want it loose. If it's too loose, it could fall off the horse's leg. And then you can thump it. And that's about the same all the way through. And you can also turn it to see if it'll move, which this one will not. And that's it. So we use these stack wraps typically for wounds. If she had a wound down here, you could put the medication on it, whatever you choose to use, a Telfit pad. You would wrap it in gauze, and then you would wrap it like this. Also, to secure your wrap to make sure it doesn't fall off, you can put masking tape on it, which I will show you when we do the stack wrap. Other uses you could use the standing wrap for is if you were hauling your horse somewhere on the trailer and you wanted to protect its legs, you could wrap it in the standing wrap. Or some people will do it at shows to like protect their legs and make sure that they're okay and that they keep them clean. Like in the stall, we never put this on a horse and ride them or work them in it. It's solely for protecting them and making sure their wound stays clean. So next we are going to do a stack wrap. So a stack wrap is also for wounds. Basically, it's for wounds that are above the knee. And what you'll do is you'll do a standing wrap at the bottom, so that way when you wrap the top, it holds it up. So you create a shelf sort of thing. And again, when you do this, you're going to talk to her, pet her, make sure she knows what you're doing. And for the stack wrap, you'll go down a little bit lower with your wrap to give it more support. Make sure you don't pull it too tight. Same thing applies to this. You're going to leave the same amount of padding at the bottom. And at the top. Go. It's not too tight, not too loose. And then next, we'll do the top part. Which I'm using the same quilted pad and my track wrap. And you're just going to set it on top of the shelf we created with the stack wrap, standing wrap. And it's the same idea. You're going to get it tight but not too tight. You don't want it loose or it'll fall off. go down and cover the Velcro of your first wrap. Ooh. Which I probably should have made my spacings a bit bigger. And then I'm going to come in with a third track wrap, because I didn't make it all the way back to the top. And you're going to do the same thing. And there's your standing wrap. So like I said before, you're going to do this for a wound up here. And the bottom wrap is to keep the top wrap from falling. And then to secure your wrap, you will take masking tape and you can either spiral it or just go once. And this is just to make sure that it doesn't come undone. Okay, so to finish your wrap, you can put elasticon on the top of your wrap to make sure that sawdust and anything else in your stall does not get in your wrap. When you're doing this, you want to make sure you don't get it too tight. We do not use vet wrap, as you can pull it way too tight and that's dangerous. Vets do it, but we do not do it here. We only use elasticon if needed, and we don't typically always use it here. And a little bit more about wound care, I already explained that here we will do the ointment and then the telca pad and the gauze. Vets will sometimes use cotton wrap, and they will just wrap it with that. We don't like to do that here, as the cotton could get in the wound, and with telca pads it's only on one side. Like the ointment goes on one side of it, so that way it's easier for us. Since there's so many of us, we don't have to worry about it. So last we have how to wrap a foot. Reasons why we would wrap the foot is if my horse pulled a shoe, or if it has an abscess or some other type of wound in the foot that it would need to be protected and covered from anything else to keep stuff from getting inside of it. When they pull a shoe, they could sometimes become uneven, and having a diaper on the foot helps even it up, and it protects it, so if you work your horse, it gives it some more protection. So the stuff you need to wrap a foot is your diaper, your vet wrap, and your duct tape in that order. And I'm just going to put those on for you so that way you can kind of see how to do it. I'm not going to do it all the way, but... So I'm just going to, again, safety, make sure she knows what you're doing. You're going to pick up the foot just like you're going to clean out their hoofs. Come on. And then just pick it up and put the diaper on. We like to use diapers because they have these handy dandy elastic things that you can just hook to themselves, which makes it a lot easy. And voila. So when you go to vet wrap it, I'll show you after I put the foot down, but you do not want to get vet wrap or duct tape above the coronary band. If you do, you could cut off the circulation to the foot, and you could kill the foot, and that's not good. We do not want to do that. So you want to keep it on the hoof, And it doesn't matter how tight you get it because you cannot hurt the hoof as long as you're below the coronary band. And so just kind of an example type thing. And maybe. Sorry. So then you would just wrap around the hoof like that. I'm not going to do it because I don't want to waste any more than I already have, but you would just wrap around the entire hoof until it's all protected, and you'd go back with duct tape and go over it again, and that way it has more of a protectant on it, and the vet wrap help keeps the diaper on the hoof. Girl. And it helps protect it and keep it on, and then the duct tape just seals it even more to make sure that it doesn't come off at all. And that's how to wrap a hoof. We'll stop it. So that's bandaging. What we went over is how to correctly do a polo, why we put polos on our horses, because it's for protection, not support, how to do a standing wrap and a stock wrap, which is basically for wound care, and how to wrap a hoof. Thank you for your time and watching my video.